All right, guys. There's 3.5 minutes left in the game. I'm still watching it over here, but this one's over. This one is very, very over. It's honestly been over for the last 20 minutes, but it's over now. Washington just took back a fumble recovery, 70 yards for a touchdown, making it 52-3. Will Arkansas State score a touchdown before the end of this game? I don't know, and it doesn't really matter. So 52-3. I'm going to go ahead and knock out the post-game video now because I've seen what I need to see. Wow. Okay. So I was looking for a sign of life. We got a lot more than a sign of life today. This actually looked like a team that belongs in the Pac-12, that belongs not in the same realm as the best teams in college football, of course, but they at least looked like they belonged in Division 1, which I didn't think you could say about them in the first two games. So offense, hey, that Arkansas State defense, I'll say this, they might be really, really bad. They might be really, really awful. They gave up a lot of points in their first two games, and today, after the first drive, 3-and-out, we kind of did whatever we wanted. It seemed like whenever we needed a big play, we just dialed up Jalen McMillan streaking down the field, and he could get a couple steps on his man. It seemed like easy money for him. So probably something to do with the simple physical matchup of a guy like a Jalen McMillan versus an Arkansas State cornerback. But it still felt good to see. We ran the ball effectively. It wasn't amazing, but we ran the ball pretty well for the most part. A lot of different guys got in on the action, and we had a lot of good production. First down, Arkansas State. We'll see if they can get their cherry on top of the shit Sunday touchdown. But, yeah, offense, solid. Play calling seemed all right. We actually let Dylan Morris air it out a little bit, and he did make some impressive plays. And defense, look, I mean, they played good, and there's an interception, so that's another feather in the cap of the defense, and he's taking it back. The 40, the 30, the 25. He goes down at the 25. All right. So Sam Heward's going to get another shot here, but to my eyes, the best thing the defense had going for them today was the fact that the Arkansas State offense clearly did not know how to play in bad weather. They dropped so many passes. Their quarterback did not know how to throw in the bad weather, and he left a lot of plays out there today because he just couldn't find his open guys. But regardless of that, the defense still played really well, holding Arkansas State to 3 points, only a few productive drives. They're getting turnovers here at the end of the game. They got some pressure on key plays. So, good game. I don't know. I don't know how bad Arkansas State is. Now, they were good enough to score a lot of points against their first two opponents. I think Memphis and somebody else. So they're at least that good, right? So I take something away from being able to do well against them on defense, but that Arkansas State defense might just be really atrocious. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think they are really that atrocious. They probably got a bunch of 1-star and 2-star recruits over there, I'm sure. And you could see it. Their defensive backs were just plain outmanned by our receivers. And Jalen McMillan, David Macias, thank you for the subscription, buddy. Welcome to the channel. So, I will say that Dylan Morris looked like a quarterback today. And I think some of the stuff we did correctly was we allowed him to air it out a little bit. We actually put him in situations where he could make big plays, and he did make a few. Now, relatively easy pickings, but I was relatively impressed with what he did today. I liked some of the Wildcat stuff we did. I like doing that every now and then. We don't have an amazing quarterback, so even if Dylan Morris is a little better than I was giving him credit for, which I still don't think he's anything special, but why not give a few snaps to the Wildcat just to keep the offense on their heels? I do feel like the play calling was definitely better today, but clearly this team missed Jalen McMillan, and now that he's ready to go and at 100%, you can see that this team is just different on offense. So I'm going to give Dylan Morris this. I still don't think he's particularly good, but now that he has a real receiver, things are better. And I got to give it up to Jalen McMillan today for making plays in the rain, because a lot of receivers today on both sides dropped passes. Bynum dropped a couple. Taj Davis had a good game, but he dropped at least one. So really happy about that. If he can be a credible number one threat the whole year, and if he can get open like this against better competition, then I think that, hey, maybe we can compete against some of these Pac-12 teams. I don't know. Maybe that was the problem all along. But the running game, I feel like it should be a little more dominant, and it's not. It's good. It was good today. It was fine. It worked perfectly fine, but it was not dominant, and I feel like this running game should be dominant in these games, but I'm not going to complain too much after today. So offensively, hey, with John Donovan and Dylan Morris at the helm, I'll take what I can get, and what I got was decent. But as for the defense, I already kind of summed up how I feel. Yes, they played well. Yes, they played the run well. Yes, they got pressure. But I'm telling you, man, that weather today crippled that Arkansas State defense. We just went final 52-3 it is, and that will do it. Final score is posted. So, yeah, 3 points. Your defense must have played well, but that Arkansas State offense left a lot of plays out there, and I think the rain was something they were not ready to play in at all. Their quarterbacks must have missed a dozen open throws in this game, and their receivers probably dropped another 4 or 5 passes beyond that. So I'm not believing those guys are playing up to their talent level yet, but today was good, and it was against an offense that put up a ton of points in the first 2 games. So I can take something away from this. So I'm not excited. It felt good to feel positive emotions about this team after 2 weeks of a bunch of garbage. But where was this in Montana? We bring a little bit of this in that Montana game. We win that game, and we're 2-1 right now. I can live with 2-1. I can live with 1 loss to a good Michigan team, but you can't live with the loss to Montana that just completely wrecks your season before it starts. So part of me is a little annoyed right now, as annoyed as I can be after a 52-3 win at home. But it is what it is. All we can do now is move forward, and today was definitely a step in the right direction. We could not have looked much better. I will say that little stretch of football at the end of the second quarter and the start of the third quarter was sloppy, and I attribute a lot of that to the rain, I will say that, but it rains in Seattle sometimes, okay? If you're playing home games here in an open air stadium, you're going to be playing in the rain. Deal with it. So I don't know how much of an excuse that even is. So a little bit of sloppiness there, but other than that, we took care of business today. No issues, no problems. Could have probably scored more if we needed to, but this game was over in the third quarter. And, hey, step in the right direction. 52-3, and we're going to win at least one game this year. Going to win at least one. Honestly, I think we're probably going to win a few more. Next week's pretty winnable, but we'll talk about that later. Bow down to Washington. See you guys later. It's a win. Wins are wins.